So it's my mistake that I did not think about this beforehand, but this is the basic process of creating a mushroom bed. I mean, here we have some wood chips. This is definitely pine. Uh, Oyster mushrooms do not mind it, neither does lion's mane. Despite what you might hear, I've got several successful beds all across the property using a mix of pine and hardwood. Also got some straw, some peat moss, some organic hardwood mulch, a little diatomaceous earth, little pelletized lime. Being as we're underneath pine trees here, the soil is going to be rather acidic. And as you look, these blocks here in the back, this is lion's mane that was germinated from spore. Hopefully we'll get the first flush off of this new genetic here within the next few weeks. Lion's mane usually goes off pretty quick. But the base here, there's straw and some of the organic mulch beneath this pine. And then I've dusted it with diatomaceous earth, kind of, what some people call a buffer. It's very basic. Here we have some golden oyster germinated from spore that had started to pin in the bag here. As you see, we got a big pin set here. This will blow up over the next couple days into a beautiful flush. Here's another block that was germinated at the same time, the spores. Got several cultures of the golden oyster. Hoping to find some new and exciting genetics with this. Basically here, both of these I took 2 blocks, broke one up into pieces and scattered it around, and then took the other block and broke it in half of the lion's mane. And then the golden oyster, this block I will leave whole so it can fruit off the block. And this other one I will break up and scatter it around it. That way it can colonize these wood chips. And this gives you kind of the best of both worlds, where the block here that stays whole is going to, it's obviously pinned now, it's going to keep fruiting. Most of the summer, as the golden oyster doesn't mind heat, kind of like the pinks, or I've found that Columbinas, Pleurotus columbinus, often will fruit well into the summer. Been picking them since late April. Just picked some this morning. There's some pinks in another bed that are ready to be picked, but I'm going to go ahead and break up this other block, scatter it around this, and then we will dust it all with straw, some of the organic mulch, and then fill in the voids in the top with some peat moss, and then we'll water it. And right here around this block that will stay whole of the golden oyster, I'll make a little wood chip tower around it to hold the moisture. But more or less, I mean, this is very simple. I generate all my own cultures. I used to buy them, and I've got quite a stock of things that I've bought, but for quite a while now, I just collect spores, germinate them myself, and see what grows. Working on hopefully creating some stuff that's worth giving to people. I kind of have a mindset of these things were provided by the creator. These are natural. The materials to do this cost enough themselves. I mean, this is really very cheap compared to buying them. And they're going to produce a long time, but I've got a mindset of gifting things like this to people. Somebody that really wants to learn to do this, have good healthy food for their family, do something outside. I'm a firm believer in, just giving a culture to someone, see what they can do with it. What's one agar plate or one 10 cc liquid culture? That's not, it's not like a big loss. So here we are. Let's start breaking this guy up. Literally, this is how Very, very simple this is. I'm gonna do some videos on germinating spores on agar, my agar recipes, liquid culture recipes, making grain spawn, things like that. There's a lot of information out there, and there's many things that work, but everybody that does this a while will kind of find that there's certain things that will work better for each individual than others. And it's not that it's wrong. It's more the kind of thing where each person is different. Your environment's different. Your material's different. That's just how it goes. But here we are. I'm going to pause for a second. Dust this all with a little straw and some mulch. And I'll be back. Here we are now after dusting all this with some straw. You don't need a whole lot, just enough to cover the surface and all the spawn. Now let's get some wood chips on here. And here we are, we're back. There's a layer of mulch over everything. As you can see, I've covered up all the spawn with straw and mulch. That way there's plenty of food and cover, things to hold moisture. This really is how very simple outdoor beds are. Some people use cardboard, and I have before in the past, but you know, you don't always have to. Depends on what you've got underneath. If you got sandy soil or something like that, that everything's just going to kind of sink through, then I definitely use cardboard. I've known people to use tarps too, an old tarp, lay it down, makes a great barrier. So all your stuff don't wash away. You know, and it holds moisture. But this, I mean, here we are. I mean, just very simple. Gonna get some little more mulch around the tops of these blocks, keep the moisture in for them, and then we'll give it a good watering. So here we are, back again. And I always kind of just tamp down a little bit. This helps keep things together, not like compact it. That would not be good because the mic needs to breathe. But, you know, a little bit of pushing some of the air out is pretty beneficial, I've found. Just because you don't want too much space for the mic to have to jump to colonize. 2 months from now, this entire bed will be solid mycelium. And the two different kinds of mic, they will meet, and at some point they'll stop, allowing each other their space. I used to do single species beds in years past, but it's a space and a time saver to do both. I mean, how big a bed do you really need when you've got 10 beds across your yard? Anyways, let's give this some water and we'll call it good. Literally, so very simple. There's, I'm sure, people that'll say that, oh, this isn't right or that isn't right. Well, right is what works. And there's always more than one way to do things. And after you've done this long enough, you tend to find ways that are easier. The main point in your preparation of everything is your spawn prep. If you have a good healthy culture, good sterile grain spawn, and spawn that to a sawdust block that is sterile, and you have healthy mycelium, you can pretty much put it anywhere and it's going to grow. And you know, the summertime is just too hot to cultivate inside. You know, the utility it costs is just too much. Where outside, this time of year, nature will do it for you. You know, I just don't see a reason to fight the weather in the summer, trying to keep things as cool as you would like them to be for indoor cultivation, because you run into a whole slew of things that are, you know, very time consuming. You know, you can get bug problems inside, you know, things being enclosed, constantly humidified. Yes, it does grow good mushrooms inside, but during the summer months, I just cease everything inside other than create spawn for outside. Um, this is a passion though. I hope this video gets out there and more people can start enjoying this passion, eating some of the freshest food you can and some very, very healthy food.